Hey, peace and love, peace and love. This is your brother Garfield from the Dagger Squad, and we're having a program today designed. We're not going to be showing a video. It's going to be a blog talk recording. All right. Now, this is an interview I did 4 years ago, but I call it the untold story of Umar Johnson. Why am I calling it that? The reason I'm calling it the untold story is because Umar Johnson, ladies and gentlemen, Umar Johnson, I wasn't familiar with the brother. I was not familiar with Umar Johnson at all. So what happened, family, is that Umar Johnson, I gave money to Umar a couple weeks before, and I said, hey, maybe you could come on for an interview. And these people were saying that, you know, they were trying to bid for the school at the same time. Well, let me give you an outline of what's going on. These people used to work at the school that Umar was trying to buy. And if we had known this story 4 years ago, we wouldn't need Chief X and all these people calling Umar a scam. We could have stopped it at this moment. But I wasn't familiar with Umar like others. I thought it was a black man trying to open up a school. And so we say, yo, let's support it. So Enyami and my brother Charles, we used to be cool on Facebook, and we was all about the movement and trying to start movements and doing stuff. But what we get to find out, family, is that these people who worked in the school wanted to team up with Umar. They wanted to team up with Umar, but Umar wasn't interested. He wanted to go solo. So once Umar got to the conversation now, what happened, family? I texted him and said, hey, come on, man. He got these people talking about the school. Would you like to come on? And boom, he came on and said, Umar is here. And then y'all gonna see what happened after Umar found out. So it's gonna be like a 2-hour show, probably a little bit more. But let's check it out, family. And it's gonna be it's gonna get rocky. But check it out. All right. I used to do our relationship Fridays, but we didn't do the relationship Fridays. We did hold on, let me try to get it started right. All right, so here we go.
But Sister Zelia, pardon me while I introduce our first guest of the day. Let me try to get this in order and get this done orderly here. I have Sister Cheryl Wilson Sprinkle on, and I'm going to bring her on first to let her speak. And I also have on hold Betty Boston. So I'm going to punch both of them in and just say good afternoon, good evening. I don't know which part of the country you guys are from. I'm not familiar with the 434 area code, but welcome to It's Real Talk Radio. And I'd love for you guys to basically just introduce yourselves and explain to me what you guys are trying to do and put the information out. So I'll start with Ms. Sprinkle. You could go ahead first, ma'am.
It's evening here. It's a little bit after 6 o'clock. So hello, everyone. My name is Cheryl Ann Wilson Sprinkle, and I'm the president and owner of a company called Caring Arms Will Support, or CAWS, CAWS for short. Over the last few years, we have run a nonprofit organization where we provide education and training mainly to seniors, individuals who are seniors 55 years or older, or pre-seniors who are people who are 45 years or older. And we also have what you call a Senior Lifelong Learning Center, and for seniors so that they can continue to learn without having the stress of actually going to a school, but they can learn whatever they want to learn. We've been doing this for a number of years, and we are located in Brunswick County, Virginia, in the town of Lawrenceville, on a former college campus that closed June of 2012, and the name of that college is St. Paul's College. St. Paul's College has been open for over 125 years. It was founded by an Episcopal priest, Bishop Solomon Russell, and it was a historical Black college, which closed in June. It graduated its last class in June. In April, it went up for auction. At that time, the auction consisted of the college campus with multiple historic buildings, a new student center, and a 434 plus acre farm. During that auction, they were able to auction off the farm, which has since been um, wooded. So they've taken off all of the hardwood off of the property, and they also auctioned off the. There's a daycare center. It was a unique part of St. Paul's College in that they had a single family daycare center and housing project on the campus for single families, parents, men or women, and their children could go to the daycare and the parents could go to school. And so they auctioned that off. They did not auction off the property. No, they did not have a viable bidder to auction off the property. So they're having another auction on June 25th, and this is their last one. And in this one, they're going to be auctioning off the property, which consists of the campus proper, about 26 buildings, as well as the student center, for a minimum bid of $2.5 million. By the way, this property is worth over 12 million, but it's about $2.5 million. Cause would like to purchase that property so that we can begin to fix it up, and we can begin to offer educational opportunities to people in the area. We want to go beyond what St. Paul's did, and that is that we're looking to have a multi-dimensional approach to education with hands-on training. Everyone would have a mentor. In fixing up the buildings, we are going to be using trade in order to, as one of our first classes. That is not only something that is good, but it's something that's needed in this area. So construction is one of the first things that we're going to look at. So with this multi-dimensional education, the people will actually learn in the classroom about construction, but they will also have an opportunity to help fix up the buildings and getting hands-on training while they're there.
All right, sister, let me, I'm sorry to cut you off. Let me ask you a question. The school where's actually that school? Is it actually in Virginia?
Yes, it's in Virginia. It's located in Lawrenceville, Virginia, which is a rural county of Brunswick County.
Okay, so basically they closed the school down. What was the reason why they actually closed the school down?
It is a little convoluted. Basically, they had every intention of staying open, but they could make it short. They lost their accreditation, and they were going to go. They were going to go in with another college, St. Augustine College, and that deal fell through. So, as I understand it, the Board of Trustees decided that they would graduate the last class and close the college. And that is indeed what did occur. So now we have a beautiful historic college that has been, for all intents and purposes, closed for the last year, going on into 2 years now.
All right. So basically in June of this year, which is June, there's going to be an auction at St. Paul's College. There's going to be the second
auction, right.
Okay, so there was a first auction already. And what happened in the first auction?
In the first auction, that was, they had the 434 acre plus farm that was for sale. That was sold. And they auctioned off part of the college campus, which was a very small part, but a very important part, which was the single family daycare center and the apartment on that, for that daycare
All right, so
center.
Did you guys acquire that already? Or did somebody else acquire that?
No, we put in a bid, but we did not have enough money in order to be considered for the bid.
All right.
So
now there's a big question now. I gotta ask this question right now, and it can't be it's Real Talk Radio without me asking a real talk question. Is this the same school? Is this the same school that my dear brother, Dr. Umar Johnson, is trying to purchase?
This is the name that is a name that I've heard recently, and as I understand it, it is the same school.
Hmm. Wow. All right. So that means basically that you guys and whoever else is interested is going to bid later on this month. So if you guys win the bid, you guys basically have the school, right?
That is correct. That's correct.
And if he wins, he has the school. Am I correct?
That's correct.
All right. All right. All right.
So why don't you guys
you
join
guys-
together? Why don't they join together
we-
and do a collaboration?
Well, that is a very good question. Dr. Boston, are you on the line also?
I'm here.
Okay. We have through our advisory council, we have invited Dr. Johnson, and on our conference call, the last time we tried to get in contact with him, he was in a meeting and unable to attend, and we have not heard anything from him since.
All right. So I have also Joanne. No, this is not Joanne right here. Let me get this properly here. I have Joanne Gossier. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Almost. It's Joan and then like go see her all together. Go see her.
I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, sister, because I don't like to mess people's names up. I give people their respect. Can I call you Sister Joanne? Is that okay with you, ma'am? All right, hold on a second. Oh, her call got dropped. I think her call got dropped. Hold on a second, ladies and gentlemen. I have a caller here at 910. Caller, can you introduce yourself? Tell us where you're calling from. 910-232.
Yes, this is Dr. Terry Jackson.
Oh, okay, my brother. All right, so I got you on the line too. All right, I'm going to put you on hold because of the stuff in the background, but I'm gonna punch you in each time we refer to you. All right, so sister, someone in the chat room said to ask you to tell the real story. Now, if Dr. Johnson is trying to get this property, as my co-host Sister Azalea from Green Soul just asked, why aren't you guys trying to? I know you said you reached out to him and you have not got a response from him. And to be totally honest, because it's Real Talk Live, I did invite Dr. Johnson to come on, and he was actually willing to come on. And this actually changes a lot of things in the ballgame, because if he's trying to get the same property, and you guys are trying to get the same property, I'm a guy, I like to unite folks and folks work together, but I know there's a lot of politics I have no idea about in the back rooms that you probably don't want to put on the air out of respect for unity. So let me ask you this. Is it a possibility that you guys could unite on this? Even if you guys acquire the property per se tomorrow or whenever the option is it a possibility that Dr. Johnson could also be involved in this?
Are you just throwing that out to anybody in general?
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out. I'm going to punch Sister.
Hey, for the family that is joining, this was an interview 4 years ago. The reason why I'm playing this interview, I'm saying to all the black folks who are watching and listening, if we had this interview, I didn't really get into Umar the way our people are. I knew about him. I saw the stuff. He seemed like a powerful man that he could get the job done, and I supported it. But if we all knew about this particular interview and know the truth, we wouldn't have been supporting that school, period.
Going in, and then I'm going to get the doctor.
Because he was not able to, and he didn't show anything within himself to raise that money.
Involved too, but I got Sister Joan. She's back on the line. But I'm just throwing it out there. If you guys do acquire the property, is it a possibility that Dr. Johnson could also be involved with this down the line?
I would have to I'd ask the question back. If it's not important beforehand, why would it be important after the thought? I think there are certain things that you have to do in terms of unity and spirit and trust and being responsive and having someone to simply reply back to a text, email, tweet. inbox or Facebook, etc. It's just common courtesy in developing a relationship. That's like saying, would you still marry someone who would never return your first phone call? You don't know because you haven't had a chance to sit down and have that dialogue, that face-to-face blind date. And so I would just say, as an advisor, I would question, why would you wait until after the bid and then decide it's time for unity? Why not do unity in advance?
All right. I'm actually,
As the owner of the company, I believe that Jones spoke very succinctly and said very correctly how we feel and how our board of directors have felt regarding this. So I think that's the best we can answer your question, is we simply do not know because we've not had any type of conversations. We do not know this gentleman. We've not really spoken to him, although we've reached out, and we consider that to be very important. It is generally for our company, and we always use collaborative efforts. We do that with everyone within the area that we work with and outside of the area, if their mission follows our mission. And so we do believe in collaboration. But like John said, we have to talk first.
yeah, definitely. She asked a brilliant question, man. I tell you, Sister Joan, there's a reason why I can't pronounce your last name, because you're definitely way over my head as far as intelligence is concerned. But you know, I give it up to the women all the time, man. They're definitely smarter than our species. But I'm gonna get the doctor a male perspective on this, brother. Dr. Terry, I forgot your last name at this point. Go ahead, my brother. You're on the air.
Yes, Dr. Terry Jackson. Just to reiterate what Joan said and what Cheryl said, you know, when we first began the conversation about purchasing the school, we found out that Dr. Johnson was interested. And so based on some personal friends, we reached out, we emailed, we called. He couldn't make the meeting. However, we would have expected that, being that we are two groups who want the same property, that the possibility to collaborate would be great. However, due to the lack of communication between the two groups, due to the fact that the property is due to be auctioned off very shortly, we decided to move forward. Now, what I will say is this, you know, in the corporate world, not only does Dell Computer sell laptops, but HP, Hewlett Packard, also sells laptops. So sometimes there are two groups, similar visions, different organizations are going after the same property. You know, iron sharpens iron. So what we have to do is understand, as a group of people, we understand unity. And I will say this, when we look at the word unity, we have to understand that Africa itself was never unified.
Yes, sir.
So we have
about that.
Yeah, we have diverse thoughts. And so we have a group of people in our organization who look to move forward. If Dr. Umar is willing to have a conversation with us, at that time, we would have to analyze where he's at, where we're at, if the visions are synergistic, and the possibility of moving forward could become a reality. But it calls for conversation, it calls for dialogue, it actually calls for negotiation, because, you know, he has a view, we have a view, and we have to understand how we as two organizations could potentially come together and do what's best for all versus what's best for us or him.
Brother Terry Jackson. You know what? Let me ask Sister. Hold on. Let me get her name correctly. I don't want to mess up anyone's name here. Sister Betty Boston. I have a question for you. And hold on. Am I right here, or is it Cheryl? I think I have Cheryl here. All right. You know what? Let me say. Okay. All right, Sister Cheryl. Let me ask you this. As a matter of fact, let me ask Sister Betty Boston this real quickly. Is it possible? All right, let me ask you this. What are your goals as far as the property is concerned and the schooling? Is it similar to what Dr. Johnson is trying to do based on what you have heard?
Actually, it isn't.
Okay.
we're looking to serve the needs of people from early childhood all the way to the grave in educational pursuits, as well as providing, for example, a STEM academy for the youth of the area and for those people who will be coming from across the country in order to get those skills to take back to their community. We have a very heavy emphasis on people who are 45 and older. The Employment Commission has told us that is the group of people who are suffering the most in terms of unemployment. We've already begun negotiations with those organizations that have the funds that will do training and allow people to get a terminal credential that they can take anywhere in the country. You know, I don't have any problems with what he said he wants to do in terms of a training school for boys. I don't see that fitting on this campus.
Okay. Zartel.
Yes, ma'am.
Hey there. I wanted to ask him what have a particular educational philosophy or mission. Like, what is your specific mission for the school?
It's training people and providing the kind of environment where people themselves. In terms of nailing down a specific mission statement, we need to look at that again.
You know, I would go one further. I would development, workforce development. Yeah, because you know, economics is a key in our community. And when you take a look at the demographic in Lawrenceville, Virginia, a lot of the demographics are African American, and we know for higher levels of unemployment. So as a result of that, we have training systems and workforce development now to get a job and go back to work some organization, but also to train entrepreneurs, because that's needed more than anything else. You know, the reason we don't create any wealth within our community is because we don't own businesses. If I'm not mistaken, 100 owns a business in this country. So, along with Dr. Boston said, along with what Cheryl said, you know, one of our key initiatives will be economic development within the community there, as well as abroad, meaning across the nation. So we see having a world-class facility where we bring people in and we retool them with the skills that are necessary in corporate America, as well as for the creation of businesses that we need in our community.
Mr. Reed, I think this is Cheryl, Brother Reed. It is important that people understand that one of the things that we're trying to do is more than education. We want the people to leave with a sense, and this goes even back to when the college was initially founded. We want them to go back with a sense of togetherness. We want them to go back with confidence so that they can contribute to their community. That is one of the reasons why working on doing on-the-job training in the community and specifically on the campus, but also within the community, is going to be an intricate part of the course curriculum that we're going to offer. And also one of the main things that we use this now with our company is we have a very, very close case management and counseling component of our business. And that is so that we do not, we believe that we can help anybody who's willing to help themselves. And if they're willing to help themselves, then we're willing to go as the distance with them. But they are the ones who are going to be doing the work. And sometimes that's a little difficult, especially if you have failed at things, or you have been laid off, or your job has been closed, your company's been closed down and you've been out of work, and you are starting a new leaf in your life. You're going to need people who are going to be there to coach you along the way. So that's another part that is part of our goals in developing the school.
All right. I have a question that was posted on the chat room. Were you guys on the campus before it was ever put up for auction?
Yes. We have been on the campus since we actually got on the campus in October. We did not find out that we knew that they were going to possibly sell the property sometime in the future. But the president of the college was keeping the campus open. So it's not open academically, but you still have, the campus is still open. We are in one of the buildings that we chose, and we've been there. We moved in November. We have been there since November, and we are operating out of there every week, several days a week. We're there. And in addition to that, in order so that we could be closer to the campus, Dr. Boston has actually is actually renting a house that's on the campus. So we wanted to be on the ground and close to the campus as it was as we were developing what we wanted. And we've always told the president that if in the event that this college should ever be sold, we wanted it. Well, we wanted it because we had already begun to see, and we had already prayed about it, and we already saw where the Lord wanted us to take this. And that was our guiding light. That was the most important thing. Where did God want?
Can I ask you a question? Because I just text Umar, right? I didn't tell him anything, but I did invite him to come on to actually trying to do, and in all fairness, because it's Real Talk Live, and
all right, so you can see 4 years ago I was trying to bring Umar on to bring balance to it, right? I wasn't even trying to set him up. I wasn't even trying to do nothing, but look at what happened when Umar jumped on. It's going to be probably another 30 minutes before he comes on and say, hey, this is Umar Johnson, I'm here. And then he texts me while he's listening and said, oh, I got an emergency, I can't come on, once he starts hearing the conversation.
I'm going to ask if he's interested in calling in based on his response, but I do have to tell him what's going on with all due respect. Am I wrong for doing that?
I don't have a problem. We are fully we do not have a problem with transparency, and just to be, we do not see Mr. Johnson as being an enemy. That's not how COGS operates. So just because even if whether or not we can have a collaborative relationship, that is what is up for question between the two of our two companies. But we do not see him as an enemy any more than we saw the farmer who bought the gentleman who bought the 400-acre farm. We didn't see him as an enemy any more than we considered the people who bought the daycare center and the apartment on the daycare center as an enemy. They had a goal to reach, and they met it. And now we're trying to do the same, and so that we can meet our goal also.
Okay. All right. I mean, let me get Sister Joan in here and see if she has a comment, because I had her on hold for a minute.
I just wanted to just step back for a second and let's think of the big picture. This is a country that has 50 states, and within these different 50 states, there is vacant land all across America. In the state of Virginia, there is vacant land all across the state of Virginia. And so I would challenge all of us as African Americans to not just think of a tug of war of one piece of property in one little county, Brunswick, and one little town called Lawrenceville, because there are properties for sale, foreclosed, behind in taxes all over the state of Virginia. And so it shouldn't come down to a tug of war of one piece of property. And that's all I want to remind everyone. This group has been on the campus and working on this since October. And so the question would be, if you just found out about an auction for a piece of property and you raised money for it and the highest bidder, whatever, wins, do you then take your money and you buy some of the other property that might be even less expensive because it's not on auction? It's just somebody just trying to get out from debt. Can you just go buy that property?
All right. Hey, it's plain as day, man. I can't even. Sister
Everyone
Zelia.
should always have a plan B. That's what I'm saying. That's a short, sweet. Everyone should have a plan B. Your plan B, if your goal is to have a school, your goal should be to have a plan B no matter where it's going to be. Whether it's in Lawrenceville or Boogaloo, you have a plan B to get that property. And you can mute me now. You can mute
Was
me.
that Sister Joan speaking again? The smartest woman in the world? Was that Sister Joan? Jesus, I have to mute her, man. Oh, she's unbelievable. She's too smart for this radio show. I need to put an X on her phone number or something. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you know what? Let me bring in one of the. I'm going to mute you guys' mic for a second. I'm gonna bring one of my favorite people in. It's a brother Mitch from Atlanta, and he's one of the wisest men I know on this earth. And I want to hear what he has to say. Mitch, are you there, sir?
Yes, how y'all doing? You and Mosaic and everybody on the panel. It's just sad that it has come down to this where they can't work together, but obviously their minds are made up. So I guess the brother will have to find him some more property.
Mitch, I'm not getting from them, from what they're saying, that their mind is made up. What they were basically saying was they were not able to communicate with this gentleman. Brother Umar did not respond yet. We don't know why he did not respond. He could be extremely busy. So they had to proceed. They couldn't wait for him to respond to make a decision. That's what they were saying. So we don't want to put that in there. Yeah, because we don't know both sides. Just yet.
You're right, but the young lady just went off. She's like Doctor said, she's real smart. She's kind of adamant. She wants this joker to go find his own property.
No, that's not what she was saying. She was saying that she wanted to know. You're starting that. If she said she has a plan B, she's a businesswoman. And she said that.
Mitch and said he was the smartest man in the world. My friend, now you're trying to let me look like some conspiracy theorist. Right?
No,
she's a businesswoman. She was doing a plan B, Mitch. She was saying that if we don't get this particular property, and any businesswoman would do that, would have a plan A, B, and C. That's all.
You know what? I'm going to mute Mitch. I'm going to mute Mitch. I'm being the smartest woman in the world that I know. I don't know her, but as of today, she's the smartest woman in the world. Sister Joan, can you basically just say what you said so he could stop spreading rumors about what you said? Go ahead, sister.
Exactly what she just said. Every business plan has an A, B, and C. If your goal is to start anything, you have your business plans determine your location and your finances and your funding and your sponsors and go down the list. Whether you have that in Lawrenceville, whether you have it in Chicago, whether you have it in Philadelphia, or whether you have it in New York, there are vacant buildings and property everywhere. So it should never come down to a tug of war, is all I'm saying.
That's right. Miss Joan, I have a question for you. So let's say once you guys have this property, what do you see yourself doing with this? Or where do you see yourself 6 months from now, 6 years from now? What are your future goals with this?
I would let Cheryl, if you want to go forth and share your vision, because it's indeed, Cheryl is the CEO of Cause. How I got involved was simply this, watching the news. I was sitting watching the news and I saw this auction that was coming up on April the 9th. I started emailing my friends on Facebook and saying, what in the world is going on? Nobody cared. So I picked up the phone and I called the school and I said, look, I have an MBA in International Finance and Marketing from one of the top business schools in this country. I live less than an hour away from your campus. I would be foolish to sit here and watch this school go up for auction and let some corporate buy it and our children never have a chance to see it And here I have all this training, and I don't actually offer my help to say, how can I help? What can I do to help you make this thing a win-win for our children? And I thought I was going to get put off. They were busy. They were very busy. But guess what? They put me through to the president of the university. He called me right back on my cell phone, and we spoke for hours about what I felt they should be doing. At the end of the conversation, Dr. Stiff told me, guess what? I've already done all those things. I said, you did? He said, I'll email it to you now. The video that everyone is looking at was sitting in his inbox because he hadn't been online. He didn't know about the Facebook, Twitter world. I said, give me that video and I will put it on YouTube. I will put it on my website, and I will go to fight to try to find somebody who would want to spend the money and time to develop an academy for at-risk African-American boys, because President Obama has just released a My Brother's Keeper plan, and it would make sense to put your money where your mouth is. If you just said you're going to do My Brother's Keeper, and you just got all these people around the country saying they'll fund it, here's a school to buy it. And so we, Shireen, who's on the line, and I started collaborating, and we said, how can we raise awareness so somebody catches the vision to stop crying over the school being closed? It's done. It's been closed a year. Let's move on. That's like somebody dies in the family. It's sad. You have the funeral. But guess what? There's a life insurance policy. Somebody can go to college now, okay? So St. Paul's is gone, but there's land. There's hundreds of acres of land. Let's move forward on this. Let's stop crying about last year and let's go forward. These young boys and people of color need a place to call their own. We don't need to see this go away into hands that don't look like us. And given that, we put together a campaign. Nobody cared.
Go ahead, sister. Somebody saw this got dropped. Yeah, that's Mr. Jones. She does. See, she's the smartest woman in the world, man. Somebody's listening to her. The conspirators are listening.
On with what happened.
There she is, right here. There you
here.
go, sister. I got you back.
So, so just wrapping it up, nobody cared per se. We tried to raise some funds just to see if we could put together the contract. I have a background in real estate. Shireen has a background in real estate. I didn't keep my license in Virginia, so we couldn't broker the deal. And so we said, you know what, let's just put this to prayer. And we both came away with the same vision that this is something that we need to get people to stop crying about the past. Let's move into the future and let's go for it. And so we did that. Next thing I know, the auction happened. I gave the president certain names of different individuals. He tried to work those leads. And then the Cause Incorporated contacted me, saw the work that I had been doing, saw that people were finally waking up to say, oh my God, another HBCU was sold. This is important. And so I put together a team and we've been working as advisory. We didn't hear anything about Dr. Johnson until he ironically got the same video that Dr. Stiff had given me. And the rest is history. So that's all I'm going to say.
You know, I'm the type of guy I believe in unity at all costs. I mean, even if we don't share the same religious beliefs, I believe there's a common goal, and we all could agree on this phone like that. Young black men not being mentored, not having doctors and lawyers and folks who have careers, hard workers as role models is a problem. Look at Chicago, ladies and gentlemen. Look at what's going on with our young men. They look to gangs. They look to the Bloods and the Crips and all these different groups for influence, for leadership, instead of looking for a father or a mother. So, of course, we all agree on this phone line that young black men, there's an issue there and it needs to be solved. So I agree with you 100% in what you're trying to do. And honestly, from my heart, I wish everybody the best. I understand what Dr. Johnson is also trying to do. And, I'm going to pray on it tonight too, man. I'm going to pray on it tonight, and I'm going to pray that something is worked out where we get the property first of all. We, as in you guys, get the property, and the vision that you guys have becomes into fruition some way, somehow. Because I'm telling you, either way, it's going to be good for us. Because you know what? It's closed right now. It's closed. So if it's open, Sister Zila, go ahead, man. I'm sure you have something to say on this.
No, I'm just listening. I mean, I wish that we could work together. And it's not, again, they haven't talked yet, because it would be awesome to divide up, if it's subdividable, to give 200 acres to one and 200 acres to the other, and have both of those amazing programs on one area, because we need to be at a high vibration. We're rising, constantly every day. And the more that we can work together, that would, the more power we have in moving forward. But they just haven't talked yet. So maybe you can set up something for them to talk.
I think the main thing we need to remember, I would like all of the listeners to hear, is that we are under the clock. We're running out of time. Yeah, we're running out of time. The next auction is at the end of this month. And so it is imperative that now is the time that we act, so that we can purchase the property, and then we can see the dreams come true. But without the property, cause has got a plan B. But we would like to have, this is our plan A. But we need to purchase the property. And we know that St. Paul's Board of Trustees, they're looking for the most money. And so we just have to come up with the money so that we can purchase the property.
And that's where the problem lies. And a lot of times, I do real estate too. And what happens is, a lot of times we've had to join in because of the fact that you find everybody each other. And sometimes the property will go over what it's worth. And sometimes, it at the last minute, we have to join together so that we can obtain the property. So that's what I was saying. Maybe maybe you can talk, you never know what may happen in the end.
All right, let me get my brother Charles in here. He's calling from California, and he was the one actually that put me on to the sister. Go ahead, Charles. You're live on the air, sir.
Oh, I'm still at work here, so I will be brief. But can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We hear you loud and clear.
Okay. One of the things I noticed just from listening to all this is it's becoming to us a battle between two forces. I don't think that's being communicated by cause at all. It's just a business transaction by one party. It's another business transaction by another party. Now, that's only two entities involved in this. There could be, this thing is up for auction. We have no idea how many people are opting to buy this property. It's the second time, and it sounds like, if I understand everything correctly, that it's the last time that they will put this property on auction. And from there, I don't know what would happen. So, resilience of our people and coming together, we got to get behind somebody. I'd rather get behind someone that has a plan and someone that has been involved in educating people and using the school for these resources versus someone who is, in my opinion, just has a name and popularity. But I have not seen a plan going forth from Dr. Umar Johnson. I don't have nothing against anybody. I just literally, unbeknownst to me, I was actually familiar with this group. I just didn't know it online on Facebook, through Shireen. But other than that, I just met these folks today. But when I was on Facebook, I just asked them, tell me more about your plan. And these folks came together, from the CEO of the company to the advisors. They all came together and took the time to get on your program, Garfield, to talk more to the public about what they're trying to do. And it speaks volumes to me about action. We talk too much and no action. Now, these people have already been in the action mode. And now I feel we have to, as a people, do our best to get behind the action plan. They already have one in place. And we got to make this work for them.
Sir,
I'm behind it all the way.
Sir, how much money needs to be earlier that there wasn't enough money there? So how much money needs to be raised to obtain the school?
Sure, we have to answer that question.
For the option for this, they are not entertaining any proposals, and it's done by sealed bid. They are not entertaining any proposals less than $2.5 million.
Mm-hmm. And so how much do you guys have now?
We don't have $2.5 million. We have
Hold on a sister. I don't think, Sister Zilla, let me ask you to do this. Can you reword that question? Because I really don't want to know how much money they have. I just want to focus on how we gonna get the property.
Because if someone out there, we need to know clearly how much money they need so that we can get it together. That's what we were trying to find out, how much does the property cost and how much they have, so we can find the difference and we can make that. With the resources that we have now with the internet, Indiegogo, Kickstarter, things can happen in a day. You know, we have access to millions of viewers.
I'm sorry, I gotta cut you off. Dr. Johnson actually just confirmed he will be on tonight in the overtime segment. For those who are listening right now, we get cut off at 8 o'clock. So between 8 and 9 o'clock, Dr. Johnson has agreed to actually come on and talk about his version of trying to get the property. Because, you know, I'm not trying to play favoritism here, because I love cause and I love what Dr. Johnson is trying to do. And actually, I invited him previously. He was actually supposed to come on this week, but I never got back to him. So, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Johnson will be on. He does confirm with me in a text message that he will be on between 8 p.m. And that's the folks who are listening on the internet. You have to actually call in to hear Dr. Johnson, because 1 o'clock, all the internet stuff is cut off. So in all fairness, I'm not going to really get into the whole back and forth. I just want to hear what his version is, and then let you guys give your version. Tell us what you guys are doing for fundraising purposes also. And Sister Zayla introduced me to Indiegogo.com, which is a good source for raising funds for you guys. I don't know if you guys know about that, but I actually text one of the men from my Financial Wednesday groups, Mr. William Mansfield, and I told him it's an emergency to call in, because I do want to give you guys the opportunity to know this man, because he knows investors, thousands of investors. That's what he does. That's what we do all day. I deal with credit, boosting your scores, and funding. That's what I do for a living. So funding people and raising funds is nothing new to me. So if I have a connection that could help you guys to go over the hump, you know,
that's really appreciated.
Yeah. So how much do you need? That's why I was asking that question. How much do you guys need more to make this happen?
Okay. To be honest, the $2.5 million purchases the property. If that is the bid that's accepted. But we're talking about a campus that has been closed for a year. And we're talking about buildings that are going to have to be fixed up. So in our plan, we're looking at needing about, at the minimum, $5 million in order to get it up and running, and being not only up and running, but being successful and being attractive in order to meet the different goals that we have for the company. But the minimum amount that's needed is $2.5 million.
Okay, so you need you need the full $2.5 million. I'm trying to get clear. What if somebody said, okay, we have a check for you for this amount. That's what I'm trying to get clearly. I understand it's $5 million for the whole program.
Yeah, if someone asked me, we have a check for you for this amount, how much do you need? I would not say $2.5 million.
Hey, for those who are just joining us, basically this is an interview I did several years ago. I think around 4 years ago on Blog Talk Radio. And it was the weekend before the bid for the school at St. Paul's College, the one where Umar made the video and asked the whole community to support him. This is where all this collecting of money in GoFundMe started for Umar. I am putting this out because I feel if this was out 4 years ago, it would have changed the whole dynamic. We would have realized at that point, he's not getting the school. He is not going to get the school. The bid was 2.5 million. And then he heard the sister, she said, oh, you got to raise 5 million. The problem with the people now with the school is they had no money at all. The people who worked at the school. So you got to look at it from that angle. They don't have no money or no people to fund the school, but they have a program that can't get funded. Then you have Umar who is raising money. This is why I wanted them to come together so that they could work together. But it looked like Umar wanted a one-man show. I want to be dictator, Superman, the guy in charge. I want to be the principal, the teacher, the headmaster, the headmistress, the teacher, and everything. It seemed like Umar wanted to be everybody in the school. So he didn't want anybody else. These people actually worked at the school that was closed. I mean, why wouldn't you want to work with them? You had official psychologists that are registered in Virginia. Official people who could be principal and all that stuff. It doesn't matter. Come together and work, man. Why is it black folks want to say, hey, you know what? I made the Frederick Douglass Center for Boys, and I'm proud of it. And I want to say, I did it. I did it. Umar Johnson. I think that's what the problem was. All right. So Umar was texting me back and forth, by the way, say he's going to come on and all that stuff. But check out what happened in like 30 minutes time.
I would say 5. Because $2.5 million gets the property. We need to do more than get the property to rebuild the campus. And being in the campus and having gone through the buildings and all of that, it's going to need that work.
Okay, I hear you, but I'm still, we want to obtain the property first. So I'm still not clear on, I heard earlier that you had a certain amount of money. So I guess I'm just trying to figure out the difference to obtain the property first. And then after that, then you can always raise the funds and grants and things like that to do the other things. So I was just trying to get clear.
Sister Zilla, point of information. You're very familiar with real estate. It's not a situation where me and you going to go to an auction and bid. It's a sealed auction where somebody might put, hey, they have 4 million, they bid 4 million. Somebody might bid 5 million.
Oh no, I'm familiar with that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So her money raising it can't have a limit. It can't have a ceiling. It has to be unlimited. So she can't come on here and say, hey, I want to get 8 million. Or I want to get 9 million. I think they want to get as much money as possible. And the winner is going to be the person who actually owns the property, because they're going to make a lot of money regardless.
How much is the property worth?
I think 12 million or something like that.
It was about $12.5 million. That was with the farm included. About $12.5 million is what it was last assessed at.
Okay. I know somebody for them. The gentleman that owns I can't even think of it, not Google, but Indiegogo. That's the reason why I was asking some specific questions. That sounds like something he's helping with.
Well, if he's interested in talking to him, our advisory committee is interested in talking to him. We're interested in people, if they can help us. We always know this is never supposed to have been an effort that Carl's supposed to do by itself, which for me as a business person is frustrating, and I'm not accustomed to that. But it is to be effort of many entities, because it is going to be for the people. So bring them on. We're fine with that. But we do have a mission and a goal that is important and that we must stick to.
Okay. I mean, I can't even. I mean, they've laid out their plan and they have a beautiful, wonderful plan. I actually like what they're trying to do. I support it 100%. And, you know, and I wish them the best. It's something progressive. I cannot go against anything that's going to be progressive for our people. And, you know, Charles, I got to thank you again, man, you know, for allowing these folks to call into the program and take the time out of their busy schedule. And as a matter of fact, let me punch Dr. Terry in, because I didn't allow him enough time to express his point of views as a part of the cause organization. Go ahead, my brother.
Well, again, you know, you made some very important points, you know, about unity, about us working together as a people, about us having a vision, especially when it came to young Black males who today we are not doing what we need to do as elders to ensure that they understand their history, they know their history, and that they have the discipline to carry on. We do need mentors. And so it is important for us to collaborate. And as Cheryl just said, you know, the vision of cause is extremely, extremely important. And it is a facility that we look for it to be the gold standard, if you will, of other facilities to be built similar to it, because there's so much that we seek to do. And again, I'm just a member of the advisory board, but, you know, we, the advisory board, as well as the officers of cause, bring a great deal of practical experience to the table. You know, Joan indicated that she has a degree in international finance from one of the top MBA schools in the country, and she's been off in corporate America doing what she does. And I've spent 15 years in corporate America, you know, with a PhD in leadership of leading organizations and generating more than $100 million in revenue and developing strategic plans and doing process improvement. So we bring practical experience from corporate America to build an organization. And so we would like to think that experience brings credibility to us. You know, again, as the brother said, it's more than just a name. You know, I listened to the brother, and this is not a us against him. It's never been pitted that way. We are an organization with a particular vision, and we want to move forward. And again, as I said earlier, the most important thing to happen, the most important thing for us as an African-American people is economics. We have to be able to produce for ourselves. We have to be able to do for ourselves. We have to be able to educate our own. We have to be able to generate enough revenue that we can create jobs for others. And we want to be able to teach others how to create jobs and create businesses. So it is not an us against them. It's just a different approach that's more practical based on what our experiences have been in corporate America and in the world. And, you know, it's a once in a lifetime kind of opportunity. We think that we have what it takes to accomplish it, given the fact that we can purchase the land. And we are grateful that you were willing to introduce us to, you know, potential people who could, or potential investors who could help us, you know, see this vision and make this vision a reality.
All right. Thank you, my brother. Let me get Sister Joan in, because I know I know her phone is giving her a little issues there. Sister Joan, you could go ahead.
Okay, I just want to kind of, you know, act as the closer here. Right now, we're doing a quick $5 campaign, $5 or more by Monday. We're asking anyone to share with their family, friends, whoever's in their network on Facebook. They can send a link. The link has the background of the CEO, the staff, all of the partnerships that exist already in Lawrenceville. and you can see the tree. We're calling it the tree of opportunity. You can get your name on that tree of opportunity. As we get all the names of the people who gave, their name goes on the tree, and that little JPEG can go all over to show that whether we get this or however we get this, you were a part of history for $5. So, we're asking wide and far. You can find it on our website, caws.cc, and all of us on the advisory board will be sharing this link and sharing. And I just tweeted it to It's Real Talk, hashtag It's Real Talk, so that you all have it. And so I'm just asking that with everyone, we want everyone to feel part of this. Yes, we love lots of $1 million, but we want everyone to feel like this was something that they could touch and feel. It's a 501c3, so it's tracked, it's traced, and it's tax deductible.
Okay.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to call one of the gentlemen live on the air right now. I'm actually going to call him directly from the show because I want him to actually hear what's going on. And he knows a lot of investors, and he matches them very well for people because, we work hand in hand because he's a part of the financial group that I'm definitely a part of. And we like to keep stuff in the house. So whatever I'm a part of, they're a part of. And I'm going to call him live on the air right now. His name is Mr. William Manfield.
Hello.
Hey, William, it's Garfield from It's Real Talk Live. I have you live on the air here. And today's Friday. We normally talk about relationships, but something came up that I had to bring onto the program. And I believe you are an intricate part of this, although you don't know what we're talking about. And
all right.
I don't know if you're familiar.
All
right, let me get to the point. I know you're familiar with Dr. Umar Johnson. Are you familiar with that, brother?
Yes. Yes, I am.
All right. Dr. Umar is actually trying to purchase a property. Now, these folks who I have on the phone line, they have their own organization also called CAWS, C-A-W-S. And if I'm wrong, Charles just cut in, or one of the folks online just cut me off. But I have a group of them right now who are part of the whole organization, the president and some advisors, who they're trying to raise funds to purchase the same property. Now, they have roots with the property in the school, and there's an auction this month that they're going to auction the property, and the starting bid is $2.5 million. And I know I know within your Rolodex, I know you have a couple of people who are investors or people that could help with fundraising. And I wanted to introduce you to them because I know you guys are probably going to speak. You and Sister Joan, who is the smartest woman in the world, by the way, is going to definitely hit heads. You're the smartest man in the world.
Smartest woman in the world.
Smartest woman in the world. She is.
Ain't nothing like a queen,
Exactly. So I think you're the perfect person, seeing that we do our financial Wednesdays and, we talk about investing and all that stuff and fundraising. I thought I would bring you into the loop so that you can give us an idea of how you can add to this or help in some way, shape, or form. Go ahead, my brother.
Well, what I'd like to do, obviously, is get some more additional information on what exactly you guys are trying to accomplish, the timeline of what you're trying to accomplish. And there obviously are a variety of ways in which to go about procuring capital for real estate projects. It just depends on the circumstances and the timelines that are being put in the equation. And I think what probably should transpire first is if you have some type of documentation or a summary or even a scenario that you can give me as far as like a simple one-page summary of what you're trying to accomplish. That way I can speak from a degree of competency about what you guys are needing and requesting. And then what I will do is it will then give me some indicators of who I need to pull from my network of relationships that would be suitable for getting you the quickest turnaround in regards to a solution as it pertains to your transaction.
Okay.
So what I'd like to do, and again, I don't want to just speak, out of turn in regards to giving advice, without having, a little bit more prerequisites to be able to give you sound advice. A lot of times I think people are very anxious to jump in and give advice, but they're not always in the right, have the right context and are not in the right competency of being able to give sound advice. And when you're looking at real estate, a real estate transaction is something that is a very serious transaction because for most of us, it's the largest, most significant purchase that we'll ever do in our life. So especially when we're talking about $1 million transaction, there's a lot of components that make up that transaction and taking a transaction of that nature down. And if you're doing a refinance of that property once you procure it, then there's some other things that need to be considered, such as what the loan to value is of the property, what the size of the property is, what needs to be done to the property, what the conditions are of the property in the neighborhood that you're buying it in. There's just a lot of compensating and or challenging factors that can possibly take place as it relates to being in a position to make.
Hey, Dwayne, the issue is the school was sold in 2017. What was he raising money for after 2017? This was 3 years before that. So he raised the money for the school to bid on the school. He never got the money. Shouldn't the people get their money back from the GoFundMe? They should have got their money back. So now, then he said, oh, I found another school. Then he found another school. Then he found another school. The purpose that we supported because we were trying to invest in St. Paul's. He was trying to raise $2 million, but the lowest bid was 2.5. I don't know. Was he bidding against himself? I mean, we got to put 2 and 2 together, family. We got to put 2 and 2 together. All right. Well, let me get back to this.
A conclusive decision about making the acquisition. And if we're looking at pooling money together, there could be other components that are associated with that transaction. Some of the things that I have seen done in these type of transactions is acquiring these type of assets through a REIT. And what a REIT is a large fund that allows you to basically portfolio assets or capital for the purpose thereof of acquiring real estate assets. And it's a form or a technique that's used in a lot of things. We do a lot of consulting in helping facilitate commercial transactions of real estate as it relates to assisted living facilities, both in existing and also in new construction. That's a hot spot right now. That is student housing. So those are some things. And then also multi-purpose dwellings, as well as hotel and hospitality, as well as multi-residential facilities such as apartment complexes. So the complexity of it is all based on factors that I at this time don't know about the project in order to be able to properly give you sound advice. And I would refrain from doing that until I had some additional information. And I'd be more than glad for you, Garfield, to feel more than free to give my pertinent information out to whoever would like to have that information. And then we could have a more intelligent conversation after review of the materials via offline. That would be probably more suitable.
Hey, brother William, what I'm going to do is try to connect you with, I'm going to have Charles. I have everybody's number in my cell phone that he texted me.
Okay.
And what I need for, let me get the proper person in here. I know John is on, but before John jumps in, because she wants to connect, I'm going to have the president say something to you regarding what she's trying to do. Can you just give him basically, Sister Cheryl, give him a summary of
and also, I don't know where whether it's geographically located in New York or New Jersey, but what also may be very beneficial, Garfield, that I would say that I would be referring to, and I have no reason at all to prevent you from referring directly to Calvin Moore, who is, I think, probably would be tremendously more suitable, depending on where they're looking at making this transaction.
Virginia.
Virginia. Okay. And are they do they have a sound real estate attorney that's helping them with this transaction?
No, we're not using a real estate attorney to help us with the transaction.
Okay. And I'm going to ask a dumb-sounding question. Is there a reason behind why you're not? I'm just asking that question.
It is not that we're adverse to doing it, but we have a very good plan that we've been working with a small business institute here and a local banker and developing the plan so that we can put in a proposal for the at the auction.
Okay.
After then we would need, of course, if we get the property, then we will have to work with an attorney, and we will most likely use the attorney that my company uses and that my personal house has used in order to purchase property in this area.
Let me ask you a question. Is what you're procuring, is it a commercial asset or is it a residential asset?
It's commercial.
Okay, I would.
It's a 125-year-old college that closed down in June.
Okay, and the reason why I'm asking this question, and I'm making recommendations based on what you're telling me, is when you're looking at a transactional attorney as it relates to a residential real estate transaction, the complexity of the context of what you're doing is drastically different from a commercial real estate transaction. And I can only say that because we went through this. I went through this personally with a $3.5 million asset acquisition from a portfolio from Wells Fargo in the fall of 2011. And the purchase was made finalized in February of 2012. That was a part of an REO portfolio of foreclosed properties or pre-foreclosures that were in the downtown city of Atlanta. So we acquired a 10-story high-rise office building in the city that had a appraised value of about $17 million and a distressed asset price of about $3.5 million. Went to the SBA, did a 504 SBA loan, and was able to actually only come out of pocket about $350,000. Mm-hmm. So there's some unique things that can be done. And had we not had a sound, very versed commercial transactional real estate attorney, there were some things that we would have missed in the steps that would have cost us more money in the long term. So again, I'm not in any way at all questioning the competency of your well-trusted personal real estate attorney. But I would definitely say if you are not savvy and seasoned in the procurement of commercial assets, that I would strongly defer either from a consulting standpoint of someone to look over your transactional deal who has a seasoned track record in commercial real estate transactions. And I have some people that I could refer to you that would be licensed under the State Bar of Virginia. I used to work in Virginia, lived in Virginia in 3 different municipalities there, and worked for former Governor Doug Wilder when he was governor of Virginia. So, and I know Mark Warren very well, who is also a former governor and now U.S. Senator from Virginia, and also Senator Webb, who is a retired U.S. Senator from Virginia. So I'm very familiar with Virginia because Virginia's laws as it relates to real estate transactions are very similar to Kentucky, which is where I'm originally from. So Commonwealth states are a little tricky when it comes to conducting business under their laws and under their jurisdictions. So I just, again, not trying to tell you what to do, just strongly advise that you give consideration to that.
And I thank you very much. And that is something that we will look into and see what we can do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. And like I said, I have no form at all of taking your number or getting your number, exchanging numbers with you through Garfield and us having an offline conversation as it pertains to what we could potentially do in a step-by-step process of making this transaction and opportunity more viable and also, make it, feasible. So one of the things that our firm does, and I'll just give you kind of a highlight. I don't know what has been discussed with you pertaining to what the firm that I represent does. We do a lot of research and development and strategy work. We are a business management firm that deals with 3 different forms of strategy. We deal with strategies as it relates to brand optimization for existing and also new brands. So when I say optimization, I mean taking a brand and actually helping it become, helping a brand actually turn into an ROI from the standpoint of generating revenue. And we also do what we call marketplace feasibility. And this is the study research side, R&D side of our business, where we do a lot of feasibility testing. We do a lot of conceptualization in regards to joint plans and schematics.
So that's going to
work in tandem with several other affiliates and partners to really help make deals and transactions very solid and feasible for investors to be able to partake in and also feel that they can mitigate their risk and exposures as it relates to involving themselves in business transactions. The third thing that we do is we focus on capitalization strategies, because a lot of times people are looking for capital, but there's really no critical path or strategy on how that is to take place. They just know that they need money. So we need money. Will you help us? Will you invest? And it's a little bit more involved and more strategic to be able to make that, I call it rhetoric to reality, when it comes to doing an actual transaction. So my background is 21 years in the financial space, not only on the transactional side, but working with small companies, helping them get an IPO and go public on the New York Exchange during the time of the American Stock Exchange before it merged into the NASDAQ currently, and also working in the regulatory side of unregulated securities as it relates to Reg D, and actually funding and doing subscriptions and regulations under the SEC for procuring capital through angel investment as well as venture capital for technology companies and telecom and some alternative energy companies. So that's a little bit of my, I call it elevator speech of background in the space that we're discussing.
So as I understand it, Mr. Manfield, one of the things that you would be interested or available to assist us with is the most important thing is that at this point in time, at the end of June, there's going to be a still bid auction, and we have to raise enough money in order to put in a bid.
I understand. But let me ask you a question.
But a viable bid.
Okay, let me ask you a question. One of the things that in making a bid, and I can respect the bid process, but one of the things that will assist you in your bidding process is that there are ways and means in which to.
Dwayne, let me talk to Dwayne for a second. Dwayne, did you watch the 5-minute video with Umar Johnson? It was not no list of no prospective schools, brother. He made a video pouring his heart out to the black community. The black community, everybody, the Hebrews, the Moors, the Muslims, the Egyptians, atheists, agnostics, everybody. He was talking to the 45 million people in America. And what he did, hold on a second, brother. All he did was raise the funds, right? Now, when the place was bought in 2017, that was the end of the project. So now, why didn't he just give the people? He can't just come out and say, oh, I'm going to open up a school in 2018, and then that passed. Now, the latest is family. He's opening an online school that's open once every Saturday, once a month on a Saturday. That's his school now. The school that you donated $2 million. That's what it is. So I'm not saying he stole the money. I didn't even say that anytime. I'm not watching what the panel is saying. Whether Umar stole the money or not, the project was the school. It was no prospective schools. Yes, that was recently. That was recently. Now he says, oh, I'm gonna there's a list of schools that he's potentially gonna buy now. But you know what Umar should have did, family? You know what Umar should have did? Umar should have told us the whole plan out. The whole plan. I'm doing a 100-man and woman team launching it February 1st. I'm putting the whole plan out to show everybody why we're doing this and everything. Why didn't Umar do that for the school? The 2 million was not enough because listen, family, if he's trying to raise 2 million and the lowest bid was 2.5 million, who is the fool right now? That means he never had no intention of even getting that school if you really look into it. Watch what happened in the conversation now. Watch what happened when he jumps on. Watch what happens.
Use an MC 103 or MC 799, which is a verifiable tear sheet or proof of funds that can demonstrate capability for you to be able to participate at that level, that allows you to be in a position of leverage to be able to be at the bidding table. And what this will generally do is it will give you the opportunity to tie up an asset and to give yourself a certain period of time from a due diligence standpoint in order to put yourself in a better position to perform the asset. So there's a difference between doing transactions as it relates to verification and it relates to performing. And in real estate, it offers that level of flexibility, which is why hard money is such a popular thing when you think about doing transactional business, because you're dealing with an appreciating asset. So that's something that I would definitely look into the details of how you are being required to perform your asset or perform your capabilities. And that may give you some more options on the table to consider.
Well, one of the things that we know that we know for certain, regardless of what entity puts in a bid, as far as the seller is concerned, it is the amount of money that they get. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, I would say yes and no, because in a bidding scenario, it's not always, and people are under the illusion it's the highest bidder. It's not always that way.
No, it's
for
not.
The seller.
It's not going to be the highest bidder for them, but it is going to be the last option. It was not the highest bidder that they were interested in. They wanted to be interested in someone who was going to be able to carry on some part of the goals and the plans of the founder of the school that's now closed.
Correct.
So that is going to be taken into consideration, and indeed that is in our plan. But when it comes down to it, if I were going to say there is a percentage of it, I would say that it's probably 80% money and 20% keeping that goal, or even 90-10. At this stage in the plan, the trustees simply want to sell the property. And so they are looking at the money is what is important to them, most important to them now. Now, you add the other little piece about the going on with what the founding father wanted. That's just a wonderful addendum. But again, it is the amount of money, and that amount of money has to be raised before 3 o'clock, June 25th, I think.
Okay. So the one thing I would say, now let me ask you this question. Of the money that's required, how much of that money do you currently have?
We've been asked that question before.
Yes. I asked the question.
No, I don't want. Mr. Mansfield, I basically told him, listen, man, we're not trying to put a ceiling on whatever money that they want to raise, but I'm not even concerned what they have right now. They could talk to you about that off the ear. I don't want to put that.
Okay,
you know what?
Can I share something publicly? Can I share what we have publicly?
If they want to answer
We're
that,
raising our crowd
as a matter of fact.
So we have a crowd fund, so anybody with the internet and the phone can see the crowd fund. So the crowd fund started around 4 o'clock today, and we have about $100 in there. So
now that we can put out. Now what I'll do is I'll send that to Steve Lawrence, because he's the one that started that whole thing, and we can see what we can do on that. But he's still going to ask how much you guys need. The same thing. He's going to ask precisely how much you need, just like the gentleman just did.
Any
question, and they're going to
Exactly.
handle it. It takes you serious, and that's the truth.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
right.
now, what you really need to do is focus on being able to secure enough money to buy a proof of funds that can demonstrate that amount of money, and then leverage and leave yourself enough time to leverage that proof of funds in some form of an instrument. And I will tell you, with the timeline that you have, that you presented, that is going to be a very difficult task. I'm not saying impossible, but it's very difficult. And I've been doing this over 21 years, and I will tell you, what you're trying to do is very difficult. I will not say it's impossible. And I've done some things in short windows of time that people said it was impossible, and I've gotten it done. I've had a company that was about to go bankrupt, and they needed like $5 million in 72 hours, and I pulled it off within, as we were walking in the door, to sign the bankruptcy paper.
And I don't want anyone to think, and hear, okay, they need $2.5 million in order to get this property. That's the amount that you need in order to bid in the auction. In order, that's the least amount they want. But every dime is important. And so I don't want people to get discouraged and say, oh, they need all this money and in about 15 days and it can't happen. We're saying give, because you don't know what can happen. We don't know, what is going to happen in the future with the auction. We don't know what we're willing, how we may be able to negotiate something with them outside of the auction. They're saying that they're not going to do that, but we don't know that for certain. So we're just saying, help us to raise the money. And we always said, if we don't get the property, then we've always said, then we want to give that money back to the people who gave it to us. That's why we want a track record.
Okay. Mr. Mason, are you still there?
I am.
Okay, this is Azalea. They were saying earlier that the property was worth $12.5 million. I know that any investor is going to want to know the worth of the property, because it's about the dollar and cents. It's not even, we all want to say the emotional part, but it's about how much the property is worth that they're going to invest in it.
Let me ask you a question. In the value of that property, that value has been determined based on what?
Based on.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. What is your name again, Mr.
It's William
Mansfield.
William Mansfield.
William Mansfield. Are you familiar with that auction company?
Motley's
auction.
Yeah.
Okay, so Motley's auction is basically handling the valuation, book record, all the tax records and the tax assessments are all there. There are some debts that are incorporated into the market value. They have like a student union building that's less than 5 years old. Is that correct, Cheryl? And then the debt on that is about 5, yeah. Yeah, so it's about 8 years old, and it's still got like $1.2 million worth of debt on there. And so, so overall, what they have publicly shared in the media is the valuation of $12 million coming from these tax records and what the board of directors is.
I would always say in the institute, I'm dealing with a matter somewhat similar to what you're doing right now. A little different circumstances, but similar. I have a hospital that has a market value of $96 million. But these are things that investors are going to look at, and it's not always about what the value, perceptive value is of a property. They're looking at what is the risk factors as it relates to getting my money out of this investment in a shorter, long-term scenario, and that's something you had to consider. Hold on one second. I have one of my bankers on the other line. Hold on.
Yeah. Go ahead, sister. Let me ask you. So I have a question on the property is worth $12 million and the auction starts at $2.5 million. How much
This is the question, I guess, when Mr. Mansfield comes back. How much do you think that they would need? That's a question on the internet. And also, how can we help you if we don't know what to help you with? I guess that's Charles. Who is that question for? Is that for the panel or is that for? Oh, Mr. Mansfield, I have a question for you.
Yes, go ahead.
The property is worth 12 million, and the auction starts at 2.5 million. How much do you think they need?
They're going to need to be able to demonstrate at least 65% loan to value and get soft commitments of that. And what they would be best to do is set up a limited liability corporation that would allow them to pull their money, and then they would sell membership of that limited liability company. And they could use crowdfunding as one model in which to raise some small capital. But they're going to be much better in finding investment clubs or finding angel investors that would want to participate in a JV that would be a part of a group funding effort. This methodology is used in procuring commercial franchises such as NBA and NFL franchises. This is a methodology that's used. So, like for example, the Barlow family, they own the 49ers. They have several minority investors that are directly associated with the organization as far as ownership as a minority. Yes. So that's what I would suggest. But you got 15 days. That's a tough one because anybody that I know is going to want to have some period of due diligence, and what you're proposing does not really provide the period of time usually required by most investors to do their due diligence in regards to assessing the deal and mitigating the potential risk associated with their deal. And again, I don't want to sound negative because I know that when you're trying and you got your mind and heart around an idea, that the last thing you want to hear is the negative side of what is not going to work. I just want there to be a level of maturity as relates to practicalness, the practicality of what you're trying to accomplish and the difficulties that potentially could arise based on the time restrictions that you have in accomplishing those goals. That's all.
All right. Let me get my my brother in here, Dr. Terry. Go ahead. You want to respond to that, sir? All right. Dr. Terry seems to be busy. Anybody else want to respond to that? Oh, let me get sister in here. I've had her on hold for the longest. Go ahead, sister.
Is that me?
Yes, ma'am.
Is this Jones?
Go ahead, sister.
Oh, okay. No, I think that those are all excellent advice, and that's one of the things that I commend COS for doing is actually reaching out, asking for people, what is your expertise? What have you done in the past, and how can you help bring that to bear with us? So framing the problem from different perspectives. So each person on our team brings, some of those aspects of asking those questions. We did a SWOT analysis a couple of weeks ago to actually dig down into the business plan and ask, what are the core competencies that we're working with, and then what are the things that we need to do to fortify the areas that are not as strong. They met with the bank, they have this relationship, and they do have advisors kind of walking with them on this is what you've got to tighten up, this is great, this needs to move forward better, faster, stronger. So I do recognize that, we have a short period of time, but it's better than saying I woulda, coulda, shoulda, and just sitting around moaning about it. So I commend them for reaching out and asking for help to get to where we are right now on June 6th.
All right. Thank you, sister. Appreciate that. Mr. Mansfield.
I'm here, Garfield. I'm actually at a conference here, so I got people all around me. So that's why I had the phone on mute.
Let me ask you this before you go back, before you mute the phone. How much time span do you have? Because Dr. Umar is actually going to call in, so we could hear from both sides.
I'm actually on my way, Garfield, to dinner. I had engagement this weekend's my birthday, so we had birthday festivities going on all weekend. They've already started. I've got a house full of guests here for a dinner party, and we're just kind of I stepped out for a minute when I thought it was you.
Happy birthday.
All right.
Happy birthday.
Thank you so much.
William, you know what, William? Let me let you go then, because I know it's your birthday weekend. You're happy. I won't tell everybody your age, but you're a young 38 or young 28 or something like that. I don't know. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be nice. But William, before you go, any last advice?
No. None at all, Garfield. Thank you for having me on the radio tonight. I'm looking forward to our Wednesday show. And ladies, I wish you the most success in your real estate transactions. And if there's anything that our firm can do to help you guys, by all means, we will do our best to help you. And remember, BM Business 360. Your future's better with us.
All right. Thank you, my brother. One love. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's Mr. Williams Mansfield. He's one of the panelists on our Wednesday finance show. We talk about, credit repair, boosting your credit score, talk about starting a small business, you have venture capitalists, you have Wall Street veteran. Matter of fact, there's a brother that worked on the package for Obama. There's a lawyer that worked on when the housing crisis went on, one of the lawyers that helped to Obama's plan, I guess the whole funding plan and all that stuff is actually going to be on. So, because we're going to be talking about business law this week, a couple of major investors for R&D stuff, research and development, and we're going to have some other special guests. So, this is a show that you guys probably could join in, and you never know, there might be somebody on that could assist in what Mr. William Mansfield just did for you guys. All right.
That was phenomenal.
Thank you. All right, I'm gonna also tell you guys, I'm trying to get Mario Robinson right now. He's one of the guys from Wednesday. See if he has any other input. I'm texting him in the meantime to see if he wants to come on or if he's not busy, so we could continue this conversation. All right, let's do this, Sister Azalea.
Yes.
Are you okay, ma'am?
Yes, I am.
We're supposed to be talking about relationships today, but hey,
whatever comes for the community. This is an emergency thing, and this is for our future, and I totally support it. And I just would like to get clarity on the crowdfunding, how it's set up. So can they mention that again so that we can go to that? Again, can they clearly mention that? All right,
hold on, let me see who that I want to talk about this. Let's get Sister Cheryl. Sister Cheryl, can you tell us
Actually,
more?
I think the best person to talk about the crowdfunding would be Joan, since she set it up.
She is the smartest woman in the world. I don't know if I can handle her.
Yes, she is.
I don't know if I could handle her anymore, but I'll try.
Yes, please try.
Go ahead, Sister Joan.
Okay. Right now, we have a site set up through youcaring.com. And it's a kind of a long domain name for right now. But it's youcaring, Y-O-U, caring, CARING.com. And the title of it is Rescue the College Land from Auction. And right now, if I click on it, we have raised, and we did this, we started talking 2 hours ago. And so we raised up $85. The goal for that is $2,500. There's 5 days left on that. The purpose for it is really outreach so that we can develop that inner group for pledges, for bigger dollars. So, we're asking everybody to tell a friend, family member, just to get their name on the Tree of Opportunity. The Tree of Opportunity is a JPEG that sort of resembles the logo for Caring Arms Will Support, which is a tree with arms supporting it. And the logo for our Giving Tree of Opportunity has the name of the individual as, if they decide not to be anonymous. And we're not distinguishing anyone from their amount because we want everyone to feel that every amount is important for this 3-day, basically this weekend and 2 days of getting it out. but we want to see just how quickly we can use social media. So right now we've got Betty Boston saying, we have Barry Harrison from Afghanistan, we have Renee Green, and we have Joni Gosier. And we invite you and you and you and you who are listening to have your name put on this tree. $5. The link is on causeinc.cc, which is the website for the company. And all the information, if you want to mail it, the mailing address is there. Caring Arms will support. It is a 501c3, so it is tax deductible. All donations are being tracked. Everything is being very transparent so that you can see exactly who did what and when. And so, like I said, as of today, about 4 o'clock, starting the campaign, we have $85 in that campaign, and we invite as many people as possible so we can reach the goal of $2,500 by Monday. Then we feel that they will be able to take that information to their banker and just show the speed of response that we were able to get from online.
Joan, I just need to correct one thing. The
Okay.
link on the cause webpage will not be on the cause webpage until Sunday evening. We are at this point in time asking people if they don't want to mail in a donation, then they go straight to the funding site in order to make a donation.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically you need 50 people to donate $5 to make your $2,500 that you're trying to raise.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
great.
50.
No. That's 50.
It's going to be
Give $50.
$250.
Yeah, 50 people get $50.
So we have to add another zero.
$50, yeah, $50.
So you guys,
So what he was saying, the gentleman,
hold on one second.
What I calculated was 5 days that we could get
Okay.
$50 per hour.
Let me ask you this real quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys take PayPal?
PayPal is the what do you call it, the processor for that site that we're using. So they do take PayPal.
All right. Tell me the site right now, and I'll give you $50 right now. Go ahead. Tell me the site again.
Go
I'm doing it right now.
www.youcaring.com.
When you say you caring, Y-O-U or you caring?
Y-O-U, right.
Caring. Mm-hmm.
.com.
.com. Okay.
Okay. Then you're going to see search fundraisers.
All right, hold on. Let me get on. Let me see what's going on here. You caring. They'll start. Create fundraiser. What am I missing here? Send. Search. Okay, search fundraisers. Okay.
Okay. Then in that search, just put in rescue the college land.
Rescue the college land.
And hit enter. And it's the only one that's going to come up.
I feel like I'm in college right now, computer class. All right. Here we go. All right, let me see now. All right, raised $85, 5 days left. All right, I'm going to give right now on the record.
Amen.
Hold on 1 second here. I'm going to give $50. $50.
Well, $120. Great. Fantastic.
And then I'm going to go to continue. All right.
While Garfield is doing that, I just want to know, did you guys meet as a team? I remember the gentleman that started this, he was saying how people are successful is if you meet in teams of like 25 to 50 people and you have them each put in $50 to $100 within that first week, it makes it go up to another level where it reaches the million viewers in the crowdfunding market. And then when people see within that, 1 to 2 days that there's a huge, a certain amount of people supporting it, then the other people join in. So he was suggesting that the most successful people have teams. So you tell your 50 people to donate $50 and then tell them to tell 10 people to donate $50.
That sounds great.
That's what he was saying, how people have reached the $1 million level and so forth by doing that, because then the other people saw, joined in, and then they were able to go ahead and meet in.
We have, just so that you'll know, Dr. Boston has met with 2 teams of people, I believe just last week, and discussed with them where we would like to go in buying the property, and what part they would play in. It was received very well, but that was one thing that he did bring out with them. We are extremely rural here, and so the crowdfunding is a concept that I always say that we're 10 years behind, most other places. It is something that is a bit difficult if we're trying to get it, any assistance with crowdfunding in this area. They just, they'll give you their $50, but then it stops, because then they just kind of say, okay, I've done my job. But we are talking about a global. So there are other people out there who understand it better. And those are the people that I personally don't know, but we're hoping to tap into.
Yeah, he was saying it's crucial to get at a certain level, because if you don't get at that certain level within that first couple of days, you never reach the 1 million viewers. So I'm just saying, even if you had 10 people, and he actually went over this, even if you had 10 people that are not here, and then they reach out to their 100 Facebook people, like myself and Garfield, and we're going to send it out to our people, but we commit to $50. That 10 to 50 people commit, like those people he met with, they're committing to give in $50 within that day, so that it can jump up to the level of the other viewers outside of your realm.
All right. Let me just say, I just finished donating, and you could put Charles' name on the list. I don't want my name on the list. It's not about me. It's about Charles. Put Charles' name on the list, man. I don't like that guy. Put his name on the list. Or if you want to put this guy on the list, this guy right here, the smartest guy in the world, Mitch. Mitch, what's up, man? Are you gonna donate? Are you gonna donate today, man?
Yeah, okay. I will go do that now. That's we're talking about it.
And then Ivory. We're gonna have Ivory donating too, and everybody else. Charles is actually gonna be donating too. So
yeah, we'll put it out.
All right.
Wonderful. Fantastic.
All right. So hold a second. I got a caller calling in.
But Garfield, commit to give it to your 10 people.
Hold on 1 second. Caller 215-989. You're live on the ear, caller.
This is the next guest for the next segment, Dr. Umar Johnson. I'm just listening.
All right. Thank you, beloved. Thank you, beloved. All right. So the brother called in way in advance.
So you see, Dr. Umar called in, right? He said, this is the guest for the next segment, Dr. Umar Johnson. Check it out again.
Guy in the world, Mitch. Mitch, what's up, man? Are you gonna donate? Are you gonna donate today, man?
Yeah, okay. I will go do that now. That's what we're talking about.
And then Ivory. We're gonna have Ivory donating too, and everybody else. Charles is actually gonna be donating too. So
yeah, we'll put it out.
All right.
Wonderful. Fantastic.
All right. So hold a second. I got a caller calling in.
But Garfield, commit to give it to your 10 people.
Hold on 1 second. Caller 215-989. You're live on the ear, caller.
This is the next guest for the next segment, Dr. Umar Johnson. I'm just listening.
All right. Thank you, beloved. Thank you, beloved. All right. So the brother called in way in advance. I like the early man. They say a man and woman that respect time, respect their life. So thank the brother did.
You care what did she say?
You care. No, hold on. Let me
Caring.
get the information correctly. You caring.
Caring. I said .com. Okay.
I see you. I'm going to add the name now.
All right, that's my partner's PayPal, so that's what we use.
All right, what's
Well, anyway,
Brian's last name?
say that again.
You said you wanted it. Oh, I'm sorry. You said Charles. You wanted the name to be in Charles. Yeah.
Charles.
Charles what?
Yes. Charles.
I don't know. You know what? Put it in the radio station's name. It's Real Talk Live.
Okay.
Let's put It's Real Talk Live.
Yeah.
You know,
Alright,
in the
that's
name of
all.
It's Real Talk
You want the
Live. We gave
hashtag in front
$50.
of just It's Real Talk?
Yes, that's It's Real Talk Live. That's all. Not about fame and fortune. It's about helping some way, somehow. All right. Mitch, any last words, man, before we go to the next segment?
No, I'm good, man. I'm trying to help out. It sounds like a great cause, man. Sounds like they're on track.
All right, Charles, are you live on or are you on hold? All right, I guess Charles is
Go
on
ahead,
hold.
Bill. I'm listening.
No, I was just saying. Yes, they do take credit cards or PayPal and other stuff. You just got to go on the website and you'll see it.
Okay.
All right.
It might sound crazy, but I didn't catch the website.
youcaring.com.
Yeah.
You caring.
And what
All right, let me get some last
engine box?
First, you put in rescue.
Rescue.
The college.
Okay.
All right. All right. Let me get some last words from each person before we go to the next segment, and we'll take it from there. And we bring brother in at 8:00. All right. Let me see who wants to go first. Let me just do everybody in a straight line, so there's no problems as far as information. All right, so here we go. So we have sister on the ear first. Sister Cheryl?
Mm-hmm.
Or is this? All right, go ahead, sister.
All right. I just want to, first of all, thank y'all very, very much. It seems like every time I get to a place where I'm losing hope, something like this happens, and I'm hopeful again. But again, Cause is trying to buy this property that's located in Lawrenceville, Virginia, so that we can provide education, certification through higher degrees through a collaborating partner. We have a lifelong learning center. We are going to have retail sales management, allied health, hospitality, housing, especially for seniors, information technology, and business development. So, and also a greenhouse project. But business development is so that whatever people learn through the trade portion of our education part of the business will be able to not only be able to do the trade, but to learn it and to then start their own business. So we are looking strongly into economic development and into workforce development and assisting people to help themselves.
All right. Thank you, dear sister. I appreciate that. All right, let me get some words from my brother, Dr. Terry. Some last words before we bring in the next guest. Go ahead, my brother.
I just want to piggyback on what Cheryl said. Thank you so very much for this opportunity. You know, several weeks ago, Google went out and they purchased a drone company. And the question I had for my people is, did you understand the type of thought processes that you have to have in order to think about what it takes to purchase a drone company? So let me move back a little bit and talk about the process that we're going through now to buy an HBCU. It's not quite the equivalent. However, it is a different thought process for us to look at even making such a transaction, which means that we're moving forward. Is there more room for us to move forward? Sure, there is. But just the thought of going through this process, it will hopefully, for those who are listening, it will give hope for those who are listening that these kinds of things can be done if we collaborate together as Cause is done with the advisory group.
All right. All right, let's move on to, let me see who the next speaker is. Let's go to Sister John. Go ahead, Sister John.
Okay. I just wanted to say that it's been fascinating working with this team. On this team, we've got people with probably, if we added it all up, it's got to be at least 100 years worth of experience in real estate, in law, in pharmaceuticals, in banking, education, at-risk youth. You just go down the list, and it's just exciting to deal with a group of people that are responsive, that get together, drop what they're doing to see the big picture, that we've got to move forward. We can't make excuses. In my mind, come election day 2016, we're going to have a day of reckoning when we look at our children and say to them, during this window of time, I think yesterday, I forgot what the number of days left, 500 some days before the next election. We made the most out of that.
Hold on. You guys want to hear something crazy right now? Brother Umar called in, announced who he was.
All right. So Umar called and said that, he's going to be on the next segment. He texts me while he's listening to everybody and tells me 5 minutes later that he's not going to be able to do the show because of an emergency.
Said he's going to hold on. And the brother said he has to cancel his tonight appearance because he had an emergency.
Okay.
I'm not saying
that's fine. That's fine. Emergencies happen, but here's the deal. I'm looking at the timeline. We have 885 days, 5 hours, 4 minutes, and 23, 22, 21 seconds before the next election. We're going to have to look our children in the eye and say, during those 885 plus days, this is what I did. I did this, I did that, or I slept and did nothing and just blamed it on somebody else. And so I just plead to anybody that's listening to this live or the recording, don't let 885 days slip between our fingers and we do not get it together and start doing. Put things aside, prioritize, and make things happen. And that's all I have to say.
All right. Sister John, I'm gonna keep you on hold, man. Stay on. I'm gonna mute you for a second, and we're gonna keep this going. Ladies and gentlemen, we got 5 minutes left before we go into the next hour. Brother Umar Johnson was supposed to join us. He actually did, but then he had to go. He had an emergency. He said he has to. He said his apologies. As a matter of fact, he said, "Peace, bro. Emergency. Can't do show tonight. My apologies." All right, and I guess he'll be able to come on the time. But, ladies and gentlemen, we still have the folks here who are trying to promote what they're trying to do. And I just want to make it clear to everybody that, yes, Dr. Umar Johnson did confirm, and he actually did call in. And I know Sister made some comments, and as the sister started speaking, I noticed the line went clear. Dr. Umar had actually hung up. I'm gonna hold the brother to his word. He said he has an emergency. I will take the brother at his word and keep it that way. That says to everybody, I'm not a biased guy. I gave money to Umar before, and Umar was actually supposed to come on this week, and I forgot to reach out to him. But when you guys came on, I said, you know what? This seems like a good time. Let me text him and said, and so he could come on after, so there's no biasness or whatever. Because the folks who listen to the show know that I do promote Umar Johnson's trying to raise funds. So in all fairness, I had to give money to you guys because I have to be fair. I gave money to Umar before I even knew about you guys, and today I'm not going to sit by and watch folks not give money to this if this is something that's going to help us. I'm all about us. I'm good. Be by myself, I'm good. I'm better than the average. But if this is going to help our people, you know what? I look at life this way, man. You look at the good and the bad that you do in your lifetime. And you have to use ancient wisdom. Does your good outweigh your bad? That's how you should judge your own self. Look in the mirror when you go home tonight and say, did your good outweigh your bad? And I'm at a point in my life, I'm trying to wash away all the bad that I've done in the past by doing good. Nobody's perfect. And if I give to Umar, I have to be fair and give to these people right here. I love them. They came on, they did their thing, they presented their case. And I just want to say I'm giving to their group. I already gave to Umar last week. And that's it. Folks could decide what they want to do on their own. I'm giving to both causes because it's something positive for the community. Now we have 60 seconds left before the internet is shut off. So everybody who's on the chat room and everybody who is on the internet, ladies and gentlemen, you have to call in to hear the rest of the show. You have to call in. You have to call in. The number is 347-826-9457. 347-826-9457. That's 347-826-9457 if you want to hear the rest of the show. All right. 347-826-9457. That's a bunch of people starting to call in now. All right. You know, ladies and gentlemen, in all fairness, Dr. Umar called in with about 12 minutes left before 8 o'clock and said that, you know, he's on for the next segment. He's going to listen. And the sister started speaking, and he then texted me and said that he had an emergency and he could not be on tonight. Go ahead, Sister Azalea.
Mystery. Okay, so my focus is on the people that are on the phone. And I believe that everything is possible. We serve a God of abundance. The universe is of abundance. And I've seen things. I mean, I just heard the sister say that, you know, she was basically losing hope. I mean, when you're doing something this huge, it takes everything you have. But the best thing you can do is just do your plan in order like they're doing, and then let the universe take over. You know, and if this one doesn't happen, there's going to be something better. Like the sister said, there's a plan B and C. So we serve a God of abundance. The universe is of abundance. It's not Omar against these group of people. And we have to get that out of the vocabulary and not even put that in there. You know, it's about seeing this happen everywhere around the world for our Black people. And so I just shared it with our Facebook friends, and I'm going to put it out to everyone as well. So that's what we want to focus the energy on, not against us backing against each other.
All right. Let me, Sister, I don't know who was looking on the file. Let me ask Sister, is this Sister Cheryl?
You've already spoken.
All right, no, because Charles just made a donation. He wanted to know if it went through. Oh, sorry. He just made a donation. He wanted to know because it said cancel and he put it through, and I don't know. So he's trying to figure out. Hold on, Mitch. All right. Well, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, you know, thanks for joining the show this evening. Brother Umar Johnson is supposed to join us from 8 to 9. He actually called in, and then he sent me a text and said he had to cancel. He has an emergency. So I'm taking the brother's word of it, and I'm not even going to question why he would cancel at the last minute. But it is what it is, man. Let's, you know, we have Cheryl here. We have Sister Joan Gozier. We try to pronounce her name. We had Betty Boston earlier, and we have our brother, Mr. PhD himself, Dr. Terry, and you know, we still have them here, and you know, we have to thank God that, you know, we're able to put all this information out for our people, and you see the people love what you're doing, you know, and I'm gonna share it with my 2,500 or 800 people that's on my friend list. I'm gonna do that right now. And as a matter of fact, if you guys want to come back on Tuesday on the Building a Brotherhood show, where I could promote it better and put it out what we're trying to do, and I could put all you guys' faces on the flyer, and you know.
All right, family. So I'm gonna leave it there, right, for the untold story of Umar Johnson, and I hope you guys learned a lot about what really was going on with the school. All right. Okay, and by the way, everybody in the audience, we could take criticism. People who get blocked is who are disrespectful. Kayla is not that bad. She is quick with the gun, but I mean, you know, with the buttons. But you know, she's all right, man. She's a wonderful human being. She loves our people. I want to say, if anybody wants to call in and comment on the show, 1-800-518-2817, 1-800-518-2817. 1-800-518-2817. This was a show from 4 years ago that I felt the community need to hear. All right. I have a show coming up from with the Amira squad takes on Clyde Winters. I'm going to do a replay of that. All right. 1-800-518-2817. So why am I still blocked? Alexander, what are you talking about? You're not blocked, bro. What are you talking about? Who said you're blocked? I'm seeing your comments. So how are you blocked and I'm seeing your comments? On the other channel, okay, just remind me. Just remind me, that's all. All right? All right, let me see who is this here. Oh, my bad. Call back, family. I made a mistake and pressed the button. Call right back. 317, call right back. All right. Guess that person didn't want to talk. In the race problem. What's up? Yeah. No, man, he had the opportunity to, but he didn't want to legitimize him. I think that's what happened. And when he ran off, that's just him. But if nobody wants to call in, listen, man, I've been on all morning, and we had people watching, and it was a show with no visuals. But I do want to read a story that came out very Umar Johnson and the school. And this is from The Root. All right, let's take a look at Umar Johnson. There was a story by The Root about him. And check this out. Very interesting update. Umar Johnson, The Root, January 2nd, 2019. This was a couple days ago. All right, check this out. Hold on.
Go to phone. To accept this.
Hey, good afternoon, my brother. How are you? Or sister. I'm sorry. Hello? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, man.
Hey, I'm late, man, to the show, brother. Was just wondering what Umar had said, or what the people that worked for him had said about his purchase of the school. Was late to the show.
Oh, okay. Actually, this show is a show from 4 years ago. I did on Blog Talk, but I wasn't really familiar with Umar Johnson at the time. I barely knew the brother. I donated to him like a week before. And these people came forward on that Friday early in the afternoon to a friend of mine and said that they're trying to buy the same school that Umar's trying to buy. So I brought on the show, and then I invited Umar on. I told him what was going on. I texted him, and he said, all right, I'll come on. So when he came on, he heard the conversation, and the brother just texted me back. Yo, I can't, 5 minutes later, I can't be on. I can't be on. I got to go. I got an emergency. So, hey, I don't know if he ran, but it was kind of suspicious to me because these people been trying to work with him the whole time, reaching out to him, and he never wanted to be a part of it. Maybe if he had worked with them, I don't know if there would have been more success or he would have been able to buy the school, but he never, nothing happened on either of their ends. And those people used to.
Were they saying that he was trying to, like I said, I was late. So were they saying he was trying to purchase it? Was he just taking our money, or?
No, they didn't go into that, but it's
kind of debunk what he was saying.
Right. Now, basically the brother was trying to buy the school originally. He was trying to raise $2 million, but the minimum bid was 2.5. I find that very suspicious. If the minimum bid is 2.5, why are you asking for $2 million? Hey, draw your own conclusions. I'm just saying. Tell me if I'm wrong, family. If you're trying to raise 2.5 is the minimum, why are you raising $2 million? That don't make no sense. And then after that, he comes out and says he wants to get another school. I have no problem with him trying to continue the process. That is fine. But just come out and tell us what your plans are. All right? That's all we need to do. Hey, King Simon in the building. What's up, my big brother? All right, so let's look at this article here, right? That Umar now says he has a school on the weekends, once a month, I think, online. You know what I'm saying? But let's take a look at this story right here. Umar Johnson doesn't announce location. Thanks for the call, brother. Appreciate it. All right. Location of his academy. Again, the Honorable Dr. Umar, great-grand play cousin to Frederick Douglass, the most requested bullshit in the unconscious community. Big Papa the ride or die Dashiki school nurse who vowed to one day make Hotep great again, has announced the location of his long-awaited Hogwarts school for the gifted and talented. No one in America has seen or heard the announcement, but I'm sure he made one. After all, he hadn't. The people who claim that his distractors were tools of the white man would be in my inbox apologizing. They aren't. So I assume that he found a reasonable priced property near an abandoned vibranium mine on the outskirts of Wakanda. But the point is, school purchase and location announcement. This was January 1st, right here. And it's nothing from now. I mean, Johnson claimed he had the 400,000 that was donated. And I mean, hey, it is what it is. At this point, it is what it is. You guys heard for yourself the whole story of how the bidding went and everything. And yo, let's do what we got to do, man. We got to do what we got to do. King Simon. All right. So listen, family, I'm going to sign out now. And we've been on the whole morning, man. So peace and love to the family. Thank you guys for listening. And peace and love. And let's keep putting the work that we're doing in the community. All right. Peace to the family. Have a beautiful day. One. This is your brother Garfield. And I am out. Any last comments that I need to hear? All right. I'm out.